Africa rising from gray lists to global leadership. In a world that often underestimates Africa's potential, the continent is beginning to rewrite its story. From financial reform to political unity, a quiet revolution is taking shape led by nations determined to redefine Africa's place in global affairs. This month, two historic developments marked that shift. Four African nations, South Africa, Nigeria, Mozambique, and Burkina Faso, were removed from the global money laundering grey list, and Nigeria and South Africa, Africa's two economic giants, signed a new political consultations agreement to deepen cooperation, drive peace, and strengthen continental leadership. Together, these events send a clear message. Africa is cleaning house, closing ranks, and claiming its future. From economic reform to regional diplomacy, Africa's transformation is no longer a dream, it's a strategy in motion, the Grey List breakthrough. Thanks for your amazing support. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. It helps us keep bringing you stories that matter. For years, global institutions like the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, kept several African countries under scrutiny for weak financial regulations. Being on the grey list meant reduced investor confidence and limited financial access. But in October 2025, that story changed. The FATF officially delisted South Africa, Nigeria, Mozambique, and Burkina Faso, recognizing their positive progress in fighting money laundering and terrorist financing. FATF President Elisa D'Anda Madrazo called it a positive story for the continent of Africa. South Africa's reforms. In South Africa, authorities overhauled systems to detect and prevent financial crimes. Years of corruption scandals had shaken trust, but reforms led by the South African Revenue Service and the Reserve Bank modernized oversight and restored transparency. Commissioner Edward Kieswetter said, "Removing the grey list designation isn't a finish line, it's a milestone toward a stronger financial future." Nigeria's financial overdrive. Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria implemented a 19-point action plan improving coordination among law enforcement, regulators, and intelligence agencies. Tinubu called the delisting a major milestone in Nigeria's journey toward institutional integrity and global credibility. With better coordination and enforcement, Nigeria aims to be seen not as a suspect, but as a serious player in global finance. Mozambique and Burkina Faso's progress. Mozambique increased intelligence sharing and transparency, while Burkina Faso strengthened oversight of banks and financial institutions. Mozambican Finance Minister Carla Louveira said reforms weren't just about leaving the list but about building a culture of accountability. When FATF assesses Mozambique in 2030, she said, it will find a completely different country. Beyond finance, the power of unity. But financial reform alone doesn't secure Africa's future. True transformation requires political unity, regional stability, and a shared vision, and that's where Africa's two powerhouses step in. Nigeria and South Africa, a new chapter in African diplomacy. On October 25, 2025, just a day after the FATF announcement, Nigeria and South Africa signed a political consultations agreement, a framework to strengthen cooperation in politics, security, and the economy. The deal, signed in Abuja by Nigeria's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and South Africa's Deputy Minister of International Relations, commits both nations to regular consultations and a united voice on African and global issues, including the African Union's Agenda 2063, the continent's long-term blueprint for growth, peace, and security first. Both nations agreed to expand coordination on regional peace and security, share intelligence, and support African Union missions in West and Southern Africa. The Defense and Security Working Group reaffirmed joint action against cross-border crime and stronger military training. Peace in Africa isn't just about weapons, it's about trust, cooperation, and accountability, trade, standards, and economic power. The Abuja meeting also tackled trade and industrial cooperation. Both countries agreed to accelerate pending agreements, including one between Nigeria's Standards Organization and South Africa's Bureau of Standards, to boost industrial growth. They plan to reconvene the Joint Ministerial Advisory Council on Industry, Trade, and Investment before year-end to align industrial policies and investment frameworks. Together, Nigeria and South Africa represent nearly one-third of Africa's GDP, a partnership that could shape continental trade and influence global negotiations, culture, people, and connectivity. Beyond politics and economics, cultural diplomacy remains vital. Through their audio-visual cooperation agreement signed in 2021, both nations continue to co-produce films, share creative expertise, and build bridges through storytelling. A new move on the early warning mechanism also allows smoother migration, trade, and people-to-people connections linking citizens through culture and mobility. The road ahead, G20 Africa meeting. Next on the horizon is the G20 Africa Outreach Meeting on Industrialization and Agriculture, hosted in Abuja on November 3, 2025. It is a chance for African nations to shape global policy and ensure Africa's voice resonates in rooms where world trade decisions are made. The bigger picture: Africa's renewal. From FATF reforms to a renewed Nigeria-South Africa alliance, these are chapters in a broader African awakening. Africa is no longer content to be defined by outsiders. It's building credibility from within, uniting its strongest nations, and advancing the Africa envisioned in Agenda 2063: prosperous, peaceful, and self-reliant. Financial reform, political coordination, and cultural strength, three pillars of a new African order. It's not just about fixing what's broken, one analyst said, it's about designing what comes next. From Lagos to Pretoria, from Johannesburg to the Zambezi, a new Africa is rising, earning global respect not through aid or dependency, but through integrity, innovation, and partnership. This is more than a story of two nations. It's the story of a continent stepping into its power united, confident, and ready to lead. That's all for now from Vlog The World and Africa Uncovered. I'm Sal Pier. If you found this inspiring, hit subscribe and share with a friend. Your support keeps these stories alive.